And services.
You've found Atomic Android Radio.
Hello and welcome to In Universe, where we talk the ins and outs of our favorite fictional universes. I'm Adam.
I'm Andrew.
And today we're talking about Batman, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, dresses up in spandex, runs around rooftops, has a little boy sometimes.
He does have many little boys. And sometimes those little boys are quite underdressed.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, look, they could definitely be wearing more clothes as opposed to less.
I love Batman, but if you're hanging out with a little boy, at least let the little boy wear pants.
Well, a lot of the times,
if it's his decision, tell him, hey, we're going out in public, put on some pants. He's a parent. That's the thing parents do.
Gotham gets pretty cold because it's in New Jersey during the winter. You think freezing. Robin has pants for the winter time?
You don't see him wear pants. You don't see pants Robin until like third Robin in.
Yeah, no, I guess that's fair.
That's what they in my head it's not really that way, but Jason Todd Robin number 2. He's supposed to be the badass, mean, edgy Robin, but he's wearing the no pants, so it's kind of hard to see him that way.
He doesn't really get like that till he's like 16, and by then I think he does get pants sometimes.
No, because he gets like that, like they have the no pantsless Robin. That's always how I thought it was. It was no pantsless Robin when he's basically Dick Grayson number 2. But then when they kind of redo his origin of him stealing the Batmobile wheels and everything and like smoking in a abandoned apartment and whatnot, he's still rocking the no pants.
Oh, look, I mean, if it works, it works.
I am glad we haven't dissolved into referring to them as the Robin panties.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to bring it up if you didn't, but you did. So
I did, in fact, bring it up.
I mean, we're already on a bit of a Robin train. Favorite Robin?
My favorite Robin is I don't know. I've been swinging around to Jason Todd as of late, but my favorite Robin has always been Dick Grayson. I know that's a little basic bitch answer.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying, my favorite donut is the glazed donut.
No, it's like saying
my favorite ice cream is vanilla.
No, get out of here. It's like saying my favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo because he's the boring Ninja Turtle.
Look, it's fair. But to be fair, my favorite ice cream is vanilla, and my favorite donut is glazed donut, and my favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo.
Yes, because you're a basic toast bitch of a man.
But my favorite Robin is not Dick Grayson. My favorite Robin is Tim Drake.
That's fair. But my favorite Robin has always been Dick Grayson, because for one, he is the first one. He's kind of that first little guy with the hammer coming at Batman's cold heart.
Yeah,
he's opening up that thing. And 2, I like Dick Grayson a lot because you do see it with the other Robins later on, and I'm really glad they did this, even though with Tim Drake it has some aftermath consequences that I'm not that into. But anyway, I really like him because he's a Robin that grows up.
Yeah.
He's not stuck as like a teen or a kid forever being Robin. You see him start as Robin, you see him work through Robin, and then you see him become Nightwing.
It is weird that brings up that Robin is more of a legacy character than Bruce.
Oh yeah, than Batman.
You know what I mean?
Because Batman, the only legacies Batman has is when he's like gone or disappeared and someone picks up the mantle or whatever, and he's always coming back to it. The
Two
only
of those are mech suit Batman, which is a
Yeah,
weird through
yeah.
line.
But the only time it's an actual legacy Batman, a new person becoming the Batman, is Batman Beyond. And
Yeah.
that's barely canon to anything outside of the animated.
Oh no, they
DC
did.
animated
They did
universe.
make it canon.
Yeah, but it's like comics and it's a possible future, and like there's so many other options that the future might go and everything.
But
So,
it is
like,
the most consistent.
yeah, it is in comics and everything, but that's not a definitive, oh, Terry McGinnis is the next Batman.
Yeah. Although with Future's End, which was a sort of post-apocalyptic thing the New 52 did, they did specifically bring Terry in as like, this is the future, and he's like he was basically the main character of that series for a little while. The series sucked just in general. The designs were really dumb, and I just didn't really like it very much. I didn't like most of the New 52.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do like Terry McGinnis as a taker of the mantle of Batman. I like that he makes Batman his own thing.
Yeah.
And he's not mimicking Bruce Wayne Batman. He's Batman, but he's not Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that a lot. That's a thing I am a big fan for in legacies. Like Blue Beetle is a cool legacy because every Blue Beetle is different, but they're all still part of the same Blue Beetle family.
I'd agree. I think Blue Beetle is probably the most interesting legacy character because each one is so different from the next.
No, I think that's so cool. Flash is a pretty good one, but each Flash is kind of
basically the exact same.
Yeah. Like I really like when they like separate, this is what makes the Flashes different. And I'm a huge fan of Wally West, even though
I'm a big Barry guy.
Yeah, Barry Allen is my favorite holder of the mantle of the Flash. He is the Flash in my head, but I like the character Wally West more.
Yeah, I get that. I like Wally, but I don't know, especially because he picked up the mantle of Flash around that sort of 90s era. I think he gets a lot of that sort of wrapped up in his character, and I'm not huge on that.
That's fair.
I like there's in that brief window of time when Bart became Flash. I thought that was pretty interesting until they pretty unceremoniously killed him. But I don't know. As far as legacies goes, Batman isn't really one. Like he is.
Yeah,
like,
he's a muddled legacy. Like Dick Grayson does become Batman
for a
bit. Tim Drake does become Batman. There's a whole battle for the cow where like everybody's a Batman. Azrael, Commissioner Gordon. I don't like Commissioner Gordon.
Really didn't like I don't know. I think you could have done something. I don't know why it had to be Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. That cop Batman sounds like a cool thing.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily hate mech suit Batman. It's not my preferred by any means, but I don't necessarily hate a mech suited Batman. But I don't know. The big bunny ears and the missiles.
Oh yeah, the design of the mech suit is not good at all.
It's really not.
I've seen it in certain art styles where it's like, oh yeah, that actually can look pretty good. But the default James Gordon mech suit Batman isn't good. And I do not like the suit he wears under the mech suit.
The weird, like, lanky, skin tight.
It's very GIMP-like.
Look, to be fair, Batman is always sort of riding that line of GIMP.
Well, yes, but when you put the grays or like when you break it up, it takes away from that GIMPness. That one is full skin tight, like basically GIMP suit with like a belt on and a Batman cowl on. And
I
that's
don't
it.
understand why he was so lanky. Jim Gordon has never been like
he's
depicted as a
not
lanky guy.
Like, he's pretty, like, he's not big, but he's real
He's
in
an
shape, and he's got
relatively
muscles
average
on
sized
him.
guy. Yeah.
But he's like old. He's not like destroyer shredded built.
Although J.K. Simmons is also old, and he got destroyer shredded built to play Jim Gordon.
I don't know why he bothered with that.
No, I know why. He wanted to.
Yeah, look.
They would pay him to do it, and then he was
Yeah.
on screen for like 4 minutes.
And he was wearing clothes where you
That
just
you couldn't tell. He did that because he wanted to and could get paid for it this way. Which, look, fair.
What they should have done was at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, had him shirtless, had J. Jonah Jameson sitting there.
No,
being
dude. They're
shirtless,
saving that
shredded.
for No Way Home.
Oh,
He's gonna fight JK, and JK's gonna
beat the
tear his
shit
shirt
out of
open.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in for that. Give me that film.
Man, that would be dumb.
Yeah, that would fucking rule. Anyways, Batman.
Batman is that reminds me. So we brought it up when we were talking about Superman, and we sort of brushed past it, but I do think it is something to talk about. We had said, we made the joke that basically everybody does of Batman is a rich guy who dresses up in a weird costume and beats up poor people, which fair, he is.
That would be an apt job description.
That would be on paper, that's what he is. But I do think that, like, it's a joke, so obviously, but it sort of really lessens him as a character. And I wouldn't really bring it up if I didn't see it pretty constantly brought up as like an actual reading of who Batman is. Like, you see it a lot, like in Twitter circles and stuff, people being like, bringing it up like they just thought of it, like, oh, Batman's just a rich person who beats up poor people. He could do so much more with just like helping the poor of Gotham with his billions of dollars, which, yeah, he could, and he does. Like, that's
he does do that. He gives, in the DC universe, he's one of the biggest like
philanthropists like that exists. Yeah, in fact, in most Batman media, whenever there's like we're at this charity event and then a villain attacks, it's usually a Wayne charity event.
Yeah, it's he's always either running like charity events, supporting charity events. He's always, his money's always going into Gotham, rebuilding shit, paying to make shit better, and like he's doing both.
And that really shows a less than complete understanding of the people Batman beats up on the regular. Yeah, he beats up a lot of goons who are working class guys who need a job. Fair. But he also, like, sure, he could, I guess, make other jobs for them to go do. But that implies that the only reason there are criminals in real life is because there's not enough money or jobs, which,
yes,
look, the argument could be made, and that is a big reason, but it's not the only reason.
Yeah, and also, though, in most times you do see goons, it's made pretty apparent, oh, this is a shit person.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing you get in a lot of one of my favorite bits of the Batman Arkham games, which we might talk about. But there's a lot of just goons talking, and a lot of it's like they're normal guys having conversations, but then you hear them like say shit like, oh, I fucking watched my mom choke to death and didn't even help her or anything. And it's very apparent that these are shit people, and a lot of them they're already in jail and like in Arkham City and everything for being criminals,
right?
Like, and breaking the law. And
we're not talking about like, oh, they had a dime bag of weed back in 2009. Yeah. No,
we're talking like about assault, a guy
murder,
in an alley kind of guy.
Yeah. So like
when you see him deal with those sorts of criminals, like the low level, not really violent criminals, he's scary to them, and he puts fear into them, but he doesn't break their fucking legs and
No,
shit.
at most he'll break in like a hand.
Yeah, he'll knock them out at most.
And like none of that would do anything for like pretty much his entire rogues gallery. Like there's no way you can just give Riddler a job and he would stop
Oh, yeah.
doing riddles.
Yeah, no, they're all criminally insane, which
Right.
that gets to another thing
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, they're mentally ill and everything. He shouldn't be doing this. But it's comic books, it's exaggerated. They're mentally ill, yes, but they're also evil.
Yeah. And on the other hand, he's also mentally ill. Like he is also a mentally unstable man.
Yeah, there's for someone to be that obsessive over what they are doing,
Yeah.
there's got to be some screws.
At the very least,
I'm not
post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh, Batman shouldn't be out like helping people and everything. He should be in therapy. What he's doing works. He's helping people.
Oh.
He's feeling better about it.
Does it work?
Well,
how effective really is Batman?
It doesn't work because comics need a status quo that they always need to come back.
Yes, but
if you go through it, then no superhero is effective.
Yeah, I mean,
there's the times when they save the world, and if not, the world will be destroyed. But that's the same thing with Batman. There's times where Gotham's about to be destroyed, and he's the guy stopping it from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, the argument could be made that like no superhero is effective. The only ones who aren't really superheroes anymore. Mm-hmm. They've just sort of fixed everything, and they get to just be people again.
Yeah, which I would love to see.
That would be a cool idea for like a mini series, maybe.
Yeah, I don't want it to be. That's now the status quo of
because it can't be because it's boring.
It's boring. Yeah, there's nothing there. But I would love to see like a little mini series or like a bit in a animated show or something, where it's just like, yeah, we did like in the Justice League show, they show the Justice Lord, where everything's just mostly fine. And you're like, oh my God, it's like badass and everything, but this also sucks ass because for it to get to this level, they have to be terrible people.
Right. And like, they could have got to that level without being terrible people, but with that sort of power, it corrupts pretty easily.
But like, what are you going to do to stop the villains without killing or lobotomizing or dropping them in an inescapable prison or whatever?
Yeah.
How are you going to stop that sort of thing of happening unless you do the shit options?
Well, I don't think inescapable prison is all that terrible of a thing.
No. Phantom Zone is a terrible You're immortal. You're stuck in a void.
That sounds like a good time to me.
You have a few screws loose. That's a terrible time for legitimately everyone else. That's why Zod doesn't come out of the Phantom Zone like, oh, I had a bit of a rest in there.
Well, he didn't go into the Phantom Zone a very stable man either.
Look, if people want to go into the Phantom Zone from their own free will, that's their choice.
Well, prison isn't about free will.
That's okay, but prison, you're at least like actual prison, they treat you like you're a human being who can have some entertainment and like you can
do slave labor,
unquote, enjoy food, but you could work out, you could read. Sometimes there's TVs. There's none of that shit in fucking
you could work out in the Phantom Zone.
I don't think you can. If you don't age or anything, I don't think your body changes.
Well, no, because not aging is different than your body. Like you get memory, you are conscious. Your body has to change for that.
Yeah, but like, can I shit in the Phantom Zone?
I mean, until you don't no longer have anything in your system from no eating.
Yeah, and then also, like, I guess you could tone down a bit, but you're not going to build any more mass on you.
Well, yeah, because you've got no food in there to actually build protein. But like, you could do it just for fun.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I mean, we could pull a page from Civil War, and not our real Civil War, although emancipating and no slave labor is a good idea. Uh, but Marvel's Civil War, where they make a prison in the negative zone. Superman or Batman, like the Justice League, could just make a prison in the Phantom Zone. There you get your books and your exercise and maybe even your food.
Yeah, okay, but then that's building a system where someone is eventually going to break out. It's an unbreak, even though Phantom Zone's a bad example because people do get out of that thing.
Yes.
It's an unescapable prison when it's something you drop someone in and never see them again.
Well, that's why I'm okay with the Phantom Zone. But like the DC, like Batman or Cyborg or any of the other more like Will Magnus, they could make robots and then you just staff it with robots, make it mostly self-sufficient, and boom, you drop them in the prison and you leave them there.
Look, yes, that's a good idea, but you're still trying to be a good person and everything, and you're trying make it comfortable and like be humane about it. And because of that, they're gonna find a way to get past it.
Well, no, you set it up like Alcatraz. You can get past it. Feel free to try to break out, and then you're just in the regular Phantom Zone.
Yeah, but some people have to be getting into the Phantom Zone to help set up that sort of thing. And that means there's a door that's opening in and out. There's a chance.
You build it up first, set it all up, and then you just drop people in it using the projector. You never have to go in.
Look, that's a good idea if they're trying to be good and everything and they're still going for it. In the world of comics, I don't think that's going to work. The only way to actually get them to stop doing whatever, and it's not even most cases because resurrection is a thing, but it's to get real fucked about it, paralyze them, lobotomize them.
Look, I'm okay with that.
Kill them. Yeah, look, I'm saying yes, it's a good idea, and it would get the job done, but it's fucked.
I don't know. I think at a certain point, Batman, don't kill the Joker. I get it, no killing, but you're clearly fine with breaking bones.
No. That is the one thing I don't get. I've never heard a good explanation for Batman not killing the Joker without him being an asshole. The main one is the Under the Red Hood one. Oh, if I kill the Joker, then I won't be able to stop myself. I'll go and kill the Riddler and the Penguin and the Two-Face. And that's just being like, oh, so you're just a shit person without self-control.
Yeah. What are you? What's your point?
Then let someone else kill the Joker. Why are you fighting to keep the Joker alive is my thing. In that moment, he should have been fine if it was Jason Todd holding the gun and he's like, you kill me or I kill him. Batman should have been kill him and then walked away.
That might as well be him killing him personally. That's the problem.
So then he's gonna immediately go out and he's gonna see that and be like, guess it's time to kill every one of my other villains.
It'll be philosophically damning to be like, I let him die. I could have stopped it, but I didn't. What's the difference between that and just going and killing them? The way to get past that is just somebody else hired to kill the Joker with Batman not knowing about it at all.
Look,
if Jason had just done it, if this wasn't to prove a point, then Batman could continue. Like, he doesn't cry at night when two goons stab each other in an alley over $50.
Yes, but I think it's the point that people love to bring up, or especially Joker, is the whole Joker can't live without Batman. Batman can't live without Joker, and that's why he's fine with that sword. If he watched someone kill a goon, he's not going to worry about it, but he will fucking fight to the ends of the earth to keep the Joker alive, and that's because I think he needs the Joker, and he's an asshole for that.
No, well, that's what I mean. He just can't personally let somebody be killed while he has a say in it. Like, if somebody hired Deadshot, or Deadshot got a bee in his bonnet because he also likes Harley Quinn or whatever, and just shot the Joker from 2 miles away, Batman wouldn't shed a tear.
Batman, if he did that to the Joker and Batman heard about it, I could easily see a plot of a comic book being Batman going after the Deadshot and being like, "Oh no, killing is wrong. I'm taking you down for this." And it's only because it's specifically the Joker, but he won't fucking admit it.
No, he would go after Deadshot no matter who Deadshot shot.
If Deadshot killed Captain Cold, like off in Central City or whatever, no, Central City, because then you
Not
could
his
give it
territory.
the excuse it's a Flash. If Deadshot killed Captain Cold in just outside of Bloodhaven, he wouldn't give two shit.
Well, no, he would still try to stop him and put him in jail.
If he came across Deadshot, he's not gonna make it he's gonna be like, I got shit in Gotham to deal with. If Deadshot killed like one of Batman's villains, say Poison Ivy, down in Slaughter Swamp, unless Deadshot's like right there, Batman's not going to be like, I'm going to take a trip out to Slaughter Swamp to take care of fucking Deadshot now.
I mean, he would. Like, that's literally Batman's thing. Unless there's some immediately more pressing thing. He does go hunting for villains.
No, he will just stay in Gotham and handle Gotham shit. He might bring it up with Deadshot. If Deadshot's in Gotham, he's like, you killed Poison Ivy that one time too.
No, he would definitely go after him. He does that in literally everything. If he has the time and there's not an immediately pressing issue, he's searching for other villains who are doing things or have done things.
Look, Deadshot's out there all the time. Batman's not always fighting people. Deadshot's killing people all the time.
No, usually he's in jail and or a suicide squad. Why hasn't the government just put Joker down?
Well, I mean, comic books, he's insane. So
well, he is mentally ill,
can't.
and we don't just kill mentally ill people.
Yes, that's why we haven't done it legally. But because
so you've been broken the law, you should also be put down.
Well, look, if we just put him in, if he just killed a few, like 2 people or whatever, and he goes to jail and everything, and he stays in jail, that's fine. If he keeps taking up, breaking out, killing more people, somebody should decide to put him down. And if they're going to go to jail for that, so be it. Yes, I agree that the justice system, we should have a justice system and we should follow the justice system. But if you're in a situation where you're seeing that justice system isn't working off one small detail, and this guy who's going through
it's not just a small detail. He is clinically, medically, mentally ill.
Yes.
You don't just put down people who are mentally ill.
Yes, no, I agree with that. You shouldn't put down a person because of their mental illness, but that mental illness shouldn't be an excuse to tear apart and destroy lives of others and keep being able to go out and do that, and then no one's going to do anything.
Personally, I'd be fine with killing him or paralyzing him or whatever. That's fine, but I understand why, one, Batman doesn't have the authority and doesn't want the authority to do that, and why we can't just let anybody who can do it. Anybody with a gun could kill the Joker. That doesn't mean anybody should.
Look, if just a normal ass dude decided to pull the trigger on the Joker and kill him in Gotham, and I was a citizen of Gotham, I would hail that man as a hero.
Yeah, I guess. I would also hail him as a murderer.
Yes, I would understand he did murder someone, but he did it for the greater good of the people.
I guess. We'll just have to disagree on that.
Look, fair enough.
But yeah, so
and it's very strange that this argument usually goes the very other way.
Oh yeah, no, this isn't about my personal morals. I'm fine with the death penalty for the most part. There are a lot of problems with people who don't deserve to die being killed, which is
I don't think we should just be going out and killing, especially doing it legally. But since with superheroes, since basically everything they're doing is already illegal and based off their choices, their moral decisions, if one of those decided, I think one of those people should make the decision to stop the Joker.
I think it shouldn't be up to them, but fair enough.
Look, fucking Superman will kill a Zod or a big monster.
No, he won't. He kills a Zod a few times in movies, and I hate those decisions.
Look, Superman should not, as a character, Superman, as a fictional character, Batman should not kill. It's far more interesting that he doesn't kill, and it's way more engaging. Same thing with Superman. If I was in the universe and I would agree with the decision Superman made in Man of Steel, a snapping Zod's neck, I would have been like, oh yeah, look, fair enough. He was a bad guy. He was gonna kill everybody. You saved that family. You did it. But also, I don't want to praise that Superman too much because he did just fly through the city, no problem, being like, oh, there's no people around.
That brings up something I've seen quite a bit too, of people talking about that and then being like, oh, Superman destroys cities all the time when he fights. And this is now the second time we brought it up. A lot of times I'll bring up the episode Clash, where he fights Shazam or Captain Marvel at the time, and they tear through like a city. But that city specifically was empty.
Yeah.
Literally no one lived in it. Now,
I do think
it was going to be a city for the poor.
Yeah, I do think Superman should be the one character. And again, there's separate opinions I have between being in their universe and being an enjoyer
out of their universe.
Out of their universe. I think out of their universe, I think Superman should be like the one character who's very careful about that sort of thing. That's like trying his best. I'm gonna keep as much destruction away from everybody else as I should and everything else around me. And I'm not a fan of one line. Like in Clash, it's fine. It's a established thing and everything that they're like, oh, this city is specifically empty and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in a movie, when you see a bunch of shit going down, getting destroyed, and one throwaway line is, oh, there'd be a lot of people there if it was work hours right now, but now it's completely empty. That sort of thing I don't like, because how the fuck would Superman know about that?
But to be fair to Zachy Boy's Soups, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah, no, the man was just as strong and everything. It's the moments you see. It's for those moments. It's the moments you see where you see Superman grab him and fly through a building. It's when Superman's the one, like, not caring about it and like not. If his actions were like say you saw Zod or whatever, like go grab Superman, throw him through a building, everything. That's fine. There's nothing Superman can do about it. The moment Superman does it back to him, that's when it's a problem. Like,
yeah.
What the hell?
I think
Superman?
the best, the one scene that sort of encapsulates that, probably the best for me. Zod throws a gas truck at him, and instead of stopping it so it doesn't explode or checking if there's anybody behind him, he lifts up, goes down the middle, and stands back down as it explodes behind him.
Yeah, or he didn't even glance to see if anybody was in the truck.
Yeah, he didn't glance to see if there was a person in it or in the building behind him or anything like that. And that just shows a complete disregard for that sort of thing, which is a problem.
Superman in that moment should be, he sees Zod pick up the truck, he laser eyes or smashes into Zod or whatever, so Zod drops the truck or whatever. He just gets the truck away from Zod, even if Zod already threw it. Superman then goes, grab the truck, put it down next to it.
Yeah, like a better written Superman would have done that. He would have stopped the truck so it did not explode. because regardless of the situation, a tanker truck exploding in the middle of a city is not usually a good thing.
Yeah, no, there could have been people hiding behind them, taking shelter, just someone running down the street at that wrong time.
Yeah,
Someone in the truck,
in the building,
in the building,
even like a block away. Like it's still a problem.
During that fight, you see they don't show any people around because they don't want to remind you of that sort of thing. But then they do immediately remind you the next movie when it's like, oh, there's people all in these buildings.
Why wouldn't there be? It was broad daylight, in a busy city.
Yeah,
why would there be that many empty buildings around?
And not one point during the fight. That's why Batman in that movie, even though I don't like outside of the comics.
The beginning of that movie where Bruce is running through Metropolis. That rules. That's actually very good.
No, but I'll say it again. As a person who enjoys the character Batman outside of the universe, I don't think Batman should be like, oh, I'm gonna go kill him.
Yes.
But
were you a person living in the Zack Snyder?
Oh, yes. I would understand Batman's scene where he's like, yes, I have to go kill this guy. I'm like, yeah, did you see what he did? He didn't, not for 1 second was he like, oh, maybe I should check for people around me. Maybe I should make sure I'm taking more shots than my surroundings.
Yeah, or I mean, plus, I don't know. I think I heard up in Alaska, he like destroyed some guy's truck for basically no reason.
Yeah, I know. He fucked that guy's truck up. We should kill him, Batman.
I want to talk about that because that guy was a straight up asshole. He was the worst. But like he didn't do a crime. He was just a drunk asshole. So destroying his livelihood and presumably leaving him stranded in a small Alaskan town for a while.
That's a moment with most. That's one thing I really like in a bunch of superhero stuff. Is kind of that like, it's not a power fan. Well, I guess it's a power fantasy for both, but it's the person in it realizing the power fantasy and getting one over on assholes and stuff like that. I really like that. That is not a Superman thing. No. In Shazam, when Shazam throws that kid's truck into the air and destroys that kid's truck, that makes total sense.
He's a little boy.
It's a kid who's like
immature,
immature and has this power.
No, Superman could have done something. It just did not have to be that drastic.
Yeah. But also, the character of Superman is not the character I want to see do that sort of thing. If the guy poured the drink on Superman and everything, and when he just stays there and takes it, that was totally fine. That was like pretty Superman. Like Superman, he's gonna protect others, but he's not going to get angry.
It's not a pride thing. Yeah,
a guy's being an asshole to him. But the minute
if he poured the beer on the lady, then Superman it would make more sense for Superman to do some sort of like petty vengeance for it.
Yeah, it would make sense for Superman to get justice for that lady.
Yeah, it makes more sense that way than it does actually.
But anyway,
I do like that.
We're doing the reverse of last episode.
We did in the Superman, we talked heaps about Batman, and now we're talking heaps about Superman when we're supposed to be talking about Batman.
Okay. Batman.
What are some of our favorite Batman like things? Media, obviously movies, games.
Yeah. My prime Batman is the Arkham games. I think those are, when I think of Batman, that's what I think of, because before, my other prime Batman is Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
Because that's just pinnacle Batman. But the Arkham games take those, it's basically like, what if we took the animated series and updated it, modernized it, made it a bit more realistic. And I just really like that. I like a lot of the character designs. It's got
I don't like all of them.
Yeah, no, I like a majority of them, but then Like every once in a while, someone will show up. And I'm like, ooh, don't like that. But for the most part, they do
For the
a really
most part,
good job
yes.
at it. It's got the voices, the voice of Batman and Joker, Mark Hamill and Kevin
Yes.
Conroy. I,
Flip those though. Not respectively.
oh yeah.
Although, what an interesting alternate universe.
Look, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see maybe like in an interview or something, or some bonus features, them trying to voice other characters.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
That would be
cool.
a fun, cool thing to see. But yeah, there's a lot of details in that game series where I'm like, yes, that is best Batman for me. But I love most of Batman. I love the animated series for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think I personally like Batman a bit more, like the character of Batman a bit more in the following Justice Leagues and Justice League.
Yeah, I think they definitely do a little more to sort of, I don't know, they sort of concentrate him down.
Yeah, and with him interacting, because in animated series, the only people he's interacting with are Alfred, Robin, and Batgirl, and some James Gordon. But with him interacting with this whole team of different people, you kind of see like
you get a better angle of him reflected through each of them.
Yes, and I really enjoy that.
I agree. I just started rewatching those shows with my girlfriend, and it's very nice to see how it starts going from like Batman the Animated Series to there. Even in the first episode, you can see that he starts in one place and eventually will grow into another place. Yeah, and that's great.
It's awesome. And I really like the differences between Batman animated series and New Batman Adventures. I like how you see everything grow and change a bit. I like a lot of designs a lot more. Like I like that Batman. Like when I think of animated series Batman, that is the Batman I like picture in my head. That suit and everything with that Robin. But there is some character. I don't like the change in the Joker's character design. He had a much better one in the first go. Scarecrow had a really good improvement between those two things.
Definitely.
I don't like the Batmobile as much on that one though. The first animated series Batmobile is kind of like the Batmobile.
It's iconic.
It's amazing.
Although, like, it is so a piece of fictional art. Like, obviously it is, but with a lot of things, they make the Batmobile as like fantastical, but as realistic as they can kind of get.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's fair for modern movies and everything. But the Batman '89 Batmobile is a lot like the.
It's a lot like it.
Batmobile,
but the animated series Batmobile is so long.
Oh yeah, it's so long.
Like aesthetically, it's pleasing. I like it, but like thinking of that thing driving down roads.
Yeah. That's why, because the Batman '89 Batmobile was long too. That's why it needed a grapple hook
to turn corners.
Yeah, I like one thing I really enjoy in that is both Batman and the Batmobile couldn't turn.
Yeah,
Batman
they both
turn his neck, so he had to turn his whole body 90 degrees.
Yeah,
and the Batmobile couldn't turn, so it needed a grapple hook to take a corner and loop around.
No. What if Batman also couldn't turn corners and needed to throw a grappling hook around things to turn those?
He has to come over corners at a full pelt to get the momentum to pull him around.
Then swing across the corner. My favorite Batman media, like we talked about when you talked about your favorite, that's a lot of my favorite stuff. Yeah, so there's not a whole need to sort of retread that sort of ground, because I love the Arkham games. I love the animated series. But one that I quite like that we didn't really cover too much, but we did refer to it earlier, is Batman Under the Red Hood. The animated.
We did talk a bit about it.
We alluded to it earlier.
But yes.
But there's something about that film that makes it sort of stand above. Basically, I mean, I love a lot of the DCAU.
Yeah.
And the just regular standalone animated films. But there's something about that movie in particular that makes it sort of stand above the rest of them.
Yeah, when I'm listing my favorite of those animated movies, that's always at the top, if not the top of the list.
Yeah. And I don't know, there's something, because it doesn't have a lot of what is sort of the recipe for a great Batman thing. Like, it doesn't have Kevin Conroy. It doesn't have Mark Hamill. Like, it's not super inspired by the animated series or even really the 89 movie. It's really its own thing for the most part, which I think does it for the better. Especially it's its own thing compared to the comic that it's ostensibly based on.
Oh, yeah.
Because the comic, A Death in the Family and then Under the Red Hood, those two comics separately, but they have a through line, are good. They're definitely seminal pieces, but they're definitely...
They're nowhere as compact or
succinct. Yes.
They're like... Under the Red Hood is good and everything, the comic, but like it connects a bunch to like Batman Hush and a bunch of other things.
Even connects to like Superboy Prime and
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, this whole reality changing thing. There's a bunch leading up to it, and I don't think it's the best to build up in it and whatnot. But I do, and same thing in Death in the Family. It's got the whole like
the Joker wants to become an ambassador, so he gets diplomatic immunity,
and then he like brings back Joker's mom, or not Robin's, Jason's mom, and like not really sure who his mom is.
Like he's wearing that Saudi Arabia garb for some reason.
It's such a big moment in comics that. But when you look at the surrounding of it, it's a bit weird, goofy.
It's a bit lackluster. But especially like hearing about it and like as you're growing up, talking about it when you talk to people about comics, it comes off as a lot more grandiose and important part. When you actually go and read it, it is. But there's a lot around it that it's like, that's a weird decision.
Yeah, and I think a lot of especially as of late, a lot of people talking about it and how important it was and how good it was actually their idea from this movie.
Yeah, I mean that opinion did come before this movie.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because like that's when Red Hood came around, and like it was a big moment for Batman to lose a Robin like that. It was like a big moment in his history, like that one and Killing Joke, where Barbara was paralyzed. Are kind of like the two examples you point at when you say what's a failure of Batman,
right? And that sort of brings up to me Death of the Family, which from most accounts is like a pretty good book. I wasn't super into it when I read it.
I don't even know if I actually read it because I didn't actually read a lot of the New 52 stuff. Like I would hear about it and talk about it and then look into it a bit, and then that's sort of it, and that sort of built my idea of New 52 and everything.
I tried when the New 52 was new to keep abreast of everything. I tried to read as much as I could, and most of it was garbage. Like it was it was a ship without a captain. It had no idea where it was going, and it often went into pretty bad places.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do think I remember. I don't know if this is an actual true thing that I think or feel, or it's just something that keeps happening, or it has happened, and I've sort of repeated it a couple times. Is whenever there's a new event like that. With DC, or I've only really been old enough to appreciate it since like New 52 and whatnot. But I keep thinking, all of this is kind of real crap, but Flash is going good right now. And then like right after I have that thought, Flash gets like real bad.
I get that.
Like, I feel like that happened with New 52. Recently with Rebirth, I'm like, oh, Wally's back. They're doing all these big things with Flash. and everything. And then they start going into the different forces, like the Speed Force and different characters, and kept trying to tweak the mythos. And a lot of people like that. And I understand being excited for, oh, it's a new thing. It's looking at different things, but it's just something I'm not into.
Yeah, I'll just, go on the record as a lot of the stuff Scott Snyder put into the DC universe, I personally am just not a fan of.
No, I'm not a fan of a lot of late Rebirth. I kind of liked it in the beginning.
I liked the beginning of Rebirth.
Yeah,
the beginning of Rebirth brought me back from not being into it with the New 52.
Yeah, it felt a lot like, okay,
a return to form. Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it in the beginning. Then they started moving towards the later stuff, and then it moved into Dark Knight's metal, which
I personally
when it
hate.
First came out, I was like, oh, this sounds like an interesting idea and everything. Then I sort of saw the ideas form, and I'm like, oh, I do not like this. And then it dragged on for far too long. Batman Who Laughs stuck around way longer than he needed to. And
I get why he's popular. He's got a cool design, and on paper he's an interesting foil to Batman. I don't know. It felt like they'd sort of given up, and they were like, just do whatever.
And then, especially afterward, Dark Knight's metal leads into death metal, when it starts going into a lot of the people becoming, especially Batman Who Laughs, these powerful gods and Wonder Woman, and they're fighting each other, and they start talking about 10th metal and
can we dip into the metals real quick?
Look, you go ahead and have a little metal rant.
Yeah, okay. Bat metal. They started getting into this sort of big arc of the different metals in the DC universe being like a major key factor. And one thing like that could be a relatively interesting idea. It's not like a bad one necessarily, but they started getting into a lot more of them. And one thing that just stuck in my craw, something that I just hated, was metahumans, the name for people with abilities based on the meta gene that has been around since like
hilarious.
The 90s. I think it came out first in Invasion, which I don't remember the exact publication date, but I know Snapper Carr was cool in it, and he wasn't around for very long. Metahuman, which has been around for a long time, they were like, no, it's actually metal human. Whoever was writing the name down just forgot the L, I guess.
It's probably Snyder, but whoever was writing that at the moment was like, oh my god, I've unlocked something genius. Guys, everybody gather around. So you know how we have metahumans, right? Metal humans.
Oh, you're right. You just add one L and then metal humans. Yeah, metal human is such a asinine, it's like a phrase that does psychic damage to me. Like I could very easily, we joke a lot in the comic books, and even just in the wider pop culture zeitgeist, that, oh man, the 90s are so goofy.
Oh, I love goofy 90s. I love that extreme teen 90s flavor.
I'm not a fan. It has its charm in some places, but I can very easily see in the decades to come, people talking about right now in comic books with the same sort of humiliation and mockery.
Yes, no, I know exactly. Not even decades, maybe one decade. We started talking about how shit the 90s were. Well, I was a young lad. But people started talking about it,
how shit the 90s were.
Mid-early 2000s already. Fair.
Which is about a decade-ish, depending. Yeah. And so, I mean, we've talked about how shitty actually, this did involve me. I was around. But in general, people have talked about how shitty the New 52 is, basically since it started.
Yes.
But people do seem to be into the death metal and the bat metals and stuff like that.
They keep doing it. So
hey, if I got to sit through a death metal or a dark metal just so that comic books as an industry and a concept survive, the modern day. Look, I'll
Yes.
cop that. I'll cop that on the chin happily.
As long as you're giving me nuggets of stuff that I'm like, oh, that's cool, or
Mhm.
I like what's going on with this character. As long as I have something to grasp onto, I'm fine. My biggest thing since Rebirth was, oh hell yeah, like I don't like a lot of this stuff, but at least Wally West is back. But then immediately they decided to turn him evil like twice in a row into like a murderer. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, did I want my
Especially
boy Wally West back?
with Future State, which they're doing now,
Mhm.
which I've started. It's currently at the time of recording, going like ongoing, and
Yes.
I've tried to keep caught up with it. I'm not super into it. I don't know. It does a lot that I don't think is very good.
Yeah, I have.
It does do some cool stuff. I'm not gonna like just hate on it.
I've looked into it and whatnot. Like I've looked into the Teen Titans and whatnot, but I haven't really read anything. I do want to see where they go, where they take it after Future State with what is it, Infinite Frontier?
Yeah.
I think a lot of what you see, like at least marketed and whatnot. Not everything am I like into, but there's a good number of things where I'm like, oh, I'm curious how that turns out.
That is fair.
After I'm probably not going to be looking into much of Future State at all unless I hear one specific thing that's really cool that I'm like, oh, I need the context of that.
Yeah.
But with Infinite Frontier, I'll probably get into it from the get.
Like I was saying, it's not like it's all bad. Like I do think homeless on the run Batman without his gear and money and everything is an interesting concept. It's like I could see that being a decent arc of a Batman comic. Or like I don't know. A lot of it I'm not like super into. But like I read Swamp Thing, Future State, and that was pretty good. I mean, it was a little boring, but that kind of comes with the territory of Swamp Thing, which is fine.
Swamp Thing is definitely a character where he does cool things, and it's cool to see him. But when you're just kind of following him as a character and whatnot, he's not the most engaging.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on a given definition of engaging. Like
Yeah,
there's very little action in Swamp Thing, but like in the Vertigo Alan Moore Swamp Things comics, he's not necessarily like the most action-packed guy, but because Alan Moore is a very good writer, he makes just like listening to Swamp Thing talk and think to himself interesting.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'm not saying that just his character, like as a whole, is always like that. But when they're just trying to fill up Swamp Thing comics, he's not one of the ones.
That's why I don't think he works super well on a team. Like I thought it was cool he was involved with the Justice League Dark, but I don't think he works well as like a team member on that, because that's just not really his biz.
Yeah, and when he does like fight and everything, he's kind of too powerful.
Yeah, it's this whole thing. He's not a fighting character. He's far too powerful to be that. You know, he's more than immortal. He can be anywhere in the world at a given notice. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a similar deal. But I think this character does the action stuff and whatnot is more.
There's a better balance there.
Yeah. But it's like Dr. Fate, where I like the idea of them as this big, powerful entity, character, or whatever, that you're like, oh, this is a point in the universe. Don't want to fuck with this person, because when you do, it will be bad. But they're more kind of just something that's there, not something going out fighting people.
They're not out headlining like team books or anything like that.
Yeah, even though both of them have.
Yes. But I don't know. I just don't think that's where either of them would be at their strongest, at least character-wise.
Yeah. And I think if you are doing that with Dr. Fate, it's real awesome when they do it for the Justice Society. He fits really well with that team and their aesthetic and everything.
Mhm.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. One thing that really bugs me about Future State, especially because, like, I get it, it's not specifically designed to alienate longtime readers like New 52 did, but
Mhm.
it is still designed to attract new readers like New 52 was. But as an existing reader, I don't understand the timeline that's at play.
I don't think there is, like, I don't think it's in a set period or like an actual thing. I think it's like an anthology of possible futures.
Okay, because
So not each character necessarily connects to the same like timeline or is even in the same I could be totally wrong about this. This is just how I thought I understood it. But like, so like you could have Batman, Future State Batman. There's two separate Batmans, and one's much more Batman Beyond-esque, and one's more like,
but those
street
do
level.
exist in the same universe. Those
Yeah,
do exist
that's-
at the same time.
That's what those connect and everything. But then you have what's, and that's much more in the, well, no, because I guess that's in the future. I'm having a hard time thinking of an example of a character that's in Future State.
One example is Superman. What's the deal with Superman? There's John Superman, and then in a completely separate deal, there's Connor Superman, who's with the Suicide Squad, and then way in the future, in a Wonder Woman comic, there's Superman of like super so far in the future that like the Earth is no longer super populated. It's just the mascara. Swamp Thing is like the last tree and he's dying.
Yeah,
Superman shows up and he's like got a full white beard and a Shazam style cape.
Yeah, I think it's like possible future anthology. I don't think, which I think it would have been more interesting if like, yeah,
just bill it as that then. Yeah,
it could be possible future or whatever. But I think if they said it as one thing, this could be the future of the DC universe. I think that would have been much more.
I think that would have been more interesting.
But
or at least if you're gonna do anthology, make that apparent. Like they did that just after I forget which crisis exactly. I want to say Infinite, but it might have been Final. I'm pretty sure it's Infinite, where they did the Legends of the Dead Earth annuals, where they had Wave Rider specifically almost curate potential futures or alternate realities, and they made that structure apparent and relatively easy to understand. Where they don't do that with this. Things seem to be just happening without really much connection to each other.
Yeah, like, and it's just enough connection to where you question if it's connected.
Yes. Be clear. Either it is connected or it isn't. That's either way is fine.
Yeah.
But let me know.
I actually am surprised they went for like just a future deal and not a big like what if multiverse event, because how it ended, how Death Metal ended, and I guess New Front or Infinite Frontier is beginning, is the multiverse is a big deal right now. Like it's being reborn.
Yeah, it's essentially an infinite crisis, a final crisis.
Yeah. So like I thought it would be a good chance to be like, oh, let's show what that means, what's going on in those worlds and whatnot.
Which this could be, if they are anthologies of different possible futures, that just means other worlds in the multiverse. Which it could be fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it until I see the outcome of it. But I did think it was kind of the detail of there's this whole multiverse thing going on, and this might be old. No, actually, it was just Death Metal. But one person that they can't figure out where they're at that is missing is Darkseid. And I'm like, oh, that's could be a cool thing where they make Darkseid like a big threat without giving him like, don't make him into like Batman Who Laughs 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, but I'm kind of burnt out on Darkseid right now.
Plus, he does show up in one of those comics. The one where I mentioned Superman has like a big beard, or like, not a big beard, but like a beard, full white, and a Shazam style cape. Him and Wonder Woman are in that comic, and Darkseid just flies to Earth and kicks the shit out of Superman for like most of the first book.
Yeah, but like I said, I think this is only like a possible future. Like this is a what if type thing, but it's not like multiverse worlds. I don't know. They're not.
Well, that's what I mean.
clear
I
on
don't
what it
know
is.
if that's the case. I think that would be fine, but that's my whole point. They're not being super forthright with that information.
Yeah. Because it doesn't seem like any of this is going to lead into Infinite Frontier. But then they're like, oh, but in Infinite Frontier, everything's canon, everything matters.
And like the multiverse must still exist because the whole plot of the Future State Suicide Squad is they're on Earth 3.
Yeah. The multiverse does exist. At the end of Death Metal, they were discovering new Earths. They're like, yeah, I think they built
They had like the World
League,
Forge and
to specifically deal with these new Earths and everything. It's all these being reborn. I think they did that because they needed a place to put Wally, because like
nobody really knows what to do with them at this point. Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we could just have two Flashes going around.
Which they've done for a while and was fine. There's a lot about particularly death metal and stuff that I just like. Getting back to Batman in death metal, I guess the reveal that he was dead the whole time, keeping himself around with a Black Lantern ring, could be cool if you're of a certain mindset. But the thing that gets me is that's specifically not how Black Lantern rings work.
Yeah, it's not. If it did bring him back to life, then for one, he'd look like a zombie. He'd be all zombied.
He'd want to tear people's hearts out.
He'd want to tear people's hearts out, and he'd want to be making more Black Lantern.
Right. Which he doesn't. That's like none of what he wants to do.
The Black Lantern ring in that, if I recall, just keeps him alive and gives him the power to make more zombies.
Yeah, he brings like a bunch of Gotham like dead bodies alive to fight for him. Like if you wanted to do that, just have him be the embodiment of the Black, like have him fuse with Necron. That could explain that.
Yeah, and it's not like you're not doing crazy shit like that anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're already doing that kind of stuff. I don't see why.
How I feel about Infinite Frontier right now is I'm hoping for the best but expecting the worst to mediocre.
I think that just about covers it.
I think it does. That was all only about Batman.
Yeah, obviously. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.